Hi everyone, welcome again to #Career Goals. I am Veronica Alfonso, and today we're here with Maria Elena. She's an aeronautical engineer, and she will share with us her experience and her advice. So keep watching if you're interested in learning more about this career and also discovering if this is the right fit for you. So Elena, maybe you can start introducing yourself and tell us a bit more about you and your career, and yeah, just share with us about you.
I was born in Cuba. I grew up in Madrid. I married in England, and now I'm living in Germany. And why all these changes? Well, because when I was born in Cuba, because my grandparents back in the late 80s emigrated to Cuba. When the communism arrived, my parents decided that they wanted to live in a free country. They wanted that their kids, my sister and I, could be whoever we want, wherever we want. So we left Cuba to Spain back in the 70s. I grew up there. I studied the Aeronautical Engineer. And then when I started to work in what is now called Airbus, that before it was called Construcciones Aeronáuticas, they sent me as for a second job to England. And in there, while working, I met my fantastic husband, a German guy. And because of job, both of us belong to Airbus. We were moving around between England and Germany, and now we are in Germany.
So maybe you can tell us, what does it mean to be an aeronautical engineer? What is this career about? What can you tell us about it?
To make it very simple, we make things fly. That's our Airbus logo. So if you are passionate about, in my time when I studied, the space career was not existing in Spain, only in America, because actually what I wanted to be was an astronaut. And but I said, okay, let's do something that flies. And that's what I studied. So if you want to be in a field where investigation is top-notch, extreme, and you wanted to go beyond what is an ordinary job, I think aeronautical engineer or aerospace engineer is a very nice place to be. Also really difficult, huh? You had to really, really, really study.
Exactly. I was going to ask you about that. Like, when you say aeronautical engineer, the first thing that comes to my mind is like physics and mathematics and studying a lot and being like a genius for it.
Oh,
so
no.
Not really, but this is what I pictured like. So what skills do you need? Do you think anyone that studies aeronautical engineer needs or they should have? And what is the market looking for nowadays? Because when you started, probably the market was a certain way, and now it has shifted a bit, and maybe they're looking for something else. Like, what skills do you think they should have?
You are absolutely right. So the market has changed a lot. And for me, one of the biggest difference, for example, is when I wanted to study in Spain, it was very easy. There was only one university in Madrid. That's it. Now, I don't know how many.
Wow.
And I feel really, when I look at, my children, when they were selecting their studies, I really admire you, the youth right now, because the spectrum of possibilities is so huge.
Yeah.
It's that, I don't know, just reading the book, what I want to be is like, I don't know if I will be able to decide, because before, as I say, it was easy. I want something that flies, aeronautical in the University of Madrid, no more selections. Now, It is amazing. So skills that you need academically, you don't have to be a genius.
Okay.
I always said one thing, you have to be passionate about it. If this is your thing, you will make it. Some people goes very easily, some people goes with more difficulty, depending on your capability, and also influence a lot as well the studies that you have had up to high school. So how good you are prepared in math and physics, because for sure, if you don't like math and physics, engineering, whatever type, it is not your thing.
You're not.
But for me, I found it in myself, because for me, it took me longer. And it's because I grew up in a beautiful school, Catholic school, only for girls, and very proud of it. But math and physics was not their thing. So it really, when you started, I will never forget, I started the first math class, physics class. And then the professor said, okay, because you all know the formula of the speed is tarara, 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 tarara. And I say, I only know the first term. I didn't know all the rest. Wow. So, this is, but right now I think it's different. I mean, I'm an old lady, so I'm talking many, many years ago. I'm already 30 years in Airbus. So things have changed quite different. I see for my children, the speed that you learn and the technology that you have, we didn't have it at that time. Trying to answer your question, so really you had to have a passion for science. You don't have to be a genius. You have to be passionate about it. Don't be afraid of failing and trying again. And what is different from what it was needed before, and it is now needed now, is that in the past, if you had a master, you were the top of the world. Now you have a master, you're average. Because you all young people have, I don't know how many careers, I don't know how many languages, I don't know how many masters, I don't know how many internships. And what the companies are also looking for is your other skills, what we call the soft skills.
Yeah.
How do you communicate? How do you do leadership? What is your style? What do you do in an adverse time? Wow. So right now, even human resources, when they look at brilliant CV, and this is, me speaking with the human resources, a brilliant CV with, like, oh my God, this has 5 masters and it has only 3. That's not a comparison. It's what it makes you different. And this is done through the interviews. That they really know your emotional intelligence is a soft skill that you have to master.
And well, first I want to ask you about, maybe just start with the last thing. About that, sometimes we are like, let's say we are 23 when we get out, or 22 when we get out of college, or even before, we want to, if we want to get an internship, and then we're like, yeah, but how can I know that to do, or how can I develop soft skills like leadership, or how can I be more empathetic, or how can I develop soft skills if I am actually not working yet? I am only 20. So what would you say to those people?
That is a beautiful question. And you just hit it with the last sentence. I am just 20. So you can be at any moment in time great with the resources that you have. This is my favorite sentence. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be great with the resources that you have at certain point in time. When you are 20, you have certain skills. When you're 25, you have the same ones and more, or different ones and more, and so on, so on. So for me, the key point is to know, and this is what is emotional intelligence is all about, to know yourself, to know, like today, Veronica, I am 23, and I know I'm good at this, and this, and this, and I'm not that good at that, and that, and that. So what can I do about it? So the self-awareness, and also something that I will say, because I have seen it with many young people that come and say, hey, I speak 3 languages and I have 3 masters. And you only speak 2 languages and you have no masters. And I say, well done. So what? So humble, to be humble, and I say, yes, I have all those stories, but I have to master them and improve them with the experience of work. That's what it makes the difference.
Great.
And have I answered your question?
Yeah, I think so. So also about you mentioning that your background in high school in physics and mathematics wasn't really good. And I think this is something, actually, I feel really identified with this. I identified myself with this a lot, because I remember when I started college and I studied business administration, and I went into the first math class, which is nothing compared to the math classes that you have in engineering. But I remember sitting there and thinking like, oh my God, I need to get a tutor now. I need to get someone to teach me now, because I'm not going to pass this class. And I put a lot of effort into it, and I actually passed the class, thank God, after the first terrible exam, which I failed. But I learned from it. But so how, or what could you say to those people that are not maybe in the best schools? What can they do to make themselves have a good level of math and physics and this and that, to actually apply to college and to also be a good engineer in the future, if they're not getting that from the school that they're in?
I think that you answered your own question. So what your response was like for me, a very good example of emotional intelligence. You recognize your weaknesses at that moment in time and you put a solution. And today it's not only with tutoring, you can do tutoring, but as well on the media, there are so many auto learnings. That's really, I mean, my son is now in the university at the same time he's doing programming by himself. And I say, how do you do that? I mean, before you had a book and a tutor, now you have, so you know, the technology in there. Definitely you have to, and something that works also really good, and I see also that is working this time, group, tandem with people in university. You know, all people as per nature, they really feel fulfilled when they see that they are helping others. Yeah. So if you try to have a group of students with you, that some of them are better than in another subject than the other, if you study it in groups, this helps you a lot. That helped me a lot on my studies. And I think it's not changing because this is nature.
Totally, yeah. Finding a community of people that can lift you up and not bring you down. Don't just try to find the ones that are going to teach you things. That's incredible. And I want to take a pause to tell the people to please subscribe to the channel and hit like if you are liking this video so far. And the next question would be, how was your first job experience in this industry? Because I'm interested in your story as well.
Okay. It was amazingly boring.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's amazing. No, boring.
Because this is what all the millennials expect. Oh, the title, you are working in a big company, you are going to have the best job ever. Okay, I was working in the cockpit department.
Wow.
So sounds sexy, huh? And then my boss says, okay, here you have this pile of documents. You have to dig out all the acronym of the words that are in the document, and then you will do an acronym book. I don't know if I pronounced it right, you know, like only with the abbreviation. So if you will looking at CKPT equals cockpit, UBH, ultra high frequency, DME, distance measurement equipment. So it was so exciting.
At least you learned them. That's a good thing.
Exactly. and I found a lot of incongruence and not, how you say that in English, mismatches between the documents.
Yeah.
So at the end, I was helping to have something harmonized. But I'm looking back, you know, like when I hear people, you know, the youngsters telling me, it's because I've been in this post for 3 months and the only thing that I'm doing is this and that and that. Of course. When you want to get to the top of the mountain, you had to climb the mountain first. And every single experience counts. Even if you think it's the most boring one, try to look for the opportunity and what can you learn from it, because that will help you for the next steps.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're so impatient right now, and it's not only you saying it, not only me, it's even the statistics, the studies out there are saying it. Yeah. Young people right now are so impatient because, social media, internet, you have everything right there right now. You don't have to really look for it. Before, people were studying in books, with books, and then you had to go through books and do a research. Right now everything is like Googling something and getting the best answer right away. So we're used to that. We're impatient, but we need to work on that. Definitely.
And there is also a difference. This is Simon Sinek. I don't know if you heard about him, that he said it in his video for the millennials. It's like when you are young and in the household of your parents, I want an iPad, you get the iPad. I want an iPhone, I get the iPhone. But at work, that doesn't, it doesn't work that way. So patience is one of the other skills that I do recommend.
Definitely, yeah. And this industry is pretty male dominated, or at least it used to be. And I'd say this because I first met you in one event that I went to, and you were speaking about how the industry was before and how male dominated it was. So if you started with an industry like that, what made you stay? What made you say, okay, it doesn't matter if I don't see many girls in my industry, in this field, if I don't have so many female references, but I still like it, and I'm still gonna go through it?
The answer is very simple, because it was my passion.
Yeah.
So when it is your passion, and when you are really, that you say, that's what I want to do. So, okay, I'm finding, obstacles and so on, but why do I have to drop my dream? Because it's not the average. I don't go with average. Probably because the way that I grew up, in the circumstances living in Cuba, and how my parents taught me. But for me, when you have your purpose, and it can change, it doesn't matter that, when you are 25, I could have probably in the middle of my careers decided, and that's kind of doing it right now, that is I had discovered another passion. So it is not bad to change. But so far for mine, because I would feel fulfilled with it, I'm staying. And then you overcome the obstacles little by little.
Yeah, definitely. I guess this is also related to the why, because when you're doubting yourself, or you're doubting the path that you chose, then you always remember the why you're doing it, and where you want to go. So you always know that there's something in the end, and I'm gonna get it, or I started it because I want to get there. So you have your why, and I guess this is the what makes you stay even though it's hard.
Yes.
Great. And do you think the industry is still mostly male dominated, or it has changed a lot? What do you see throughout the years?
Well, statistics are still there. Yeah. So the answer is yes. Yeah. It's changing also, yes. And it also depends in the country that you are talking about. Like, for example, if you go now to the sites in Airbus, you will see the same. Probably not the same, but it will not be, let's put it the other way around. It will not be strange to see many girls. If here in Germany, it still is not the same. And I'm talking in the engineering field. So the other ones, human resources, commercial, finance, etc. That's okay. But at pure engineering, still there is a difference. It is changing. Thank God for that. And it is demonstrating that in any team, doesn't matter the field you are talking about, diversity makes the team perform better. And this is a statistic. It's not like the blah, blah, blah. So it's changing. Thank God it's changing.
And we didn't talk about this question, but it just popped up. So I'm going to ask it. So since you have had so much experience and you have been managing for so long, do you think there is a reason for women not going for these kind of fields? I mean, what do you think? Do you have a theory or something?
I have Elena's theory. I have plenty of my own theories. And the first one, it is culture driven. So I'm not talking now my generation, okay? But it was classical one. You are the girl, so you had to study and then you had to become a mom, so you had to pay for your family. So why do you want to do something that is so different? And also people were thinking of the capability difference of brain of a woman and a man, but that wasn't very old time. So for me is that, and I 100% convinced that in 2 generations, so if I'm lucky enough to see my grandchildren, we will not be having this conversation.
Great, I hope so too.
Because now, I mean, our generation suffered a little bit, and I'm trying to teach my children something totally different, like my mother taught me something different. So I think this is the main reason, and I think it's gonna fade with the time.
Yeah, I hope so too, definitely. And maybe even when girls think about some careers that I think are so demanding and time consuming, and also where that you're going to be the only girl there, at least for now, maybe then you're just like, maybe I just go for something a bit safer, not so challenging. Maybe this is one of my theories as well.
And in that, what is super important is to have support.
Yeah.
Because I can give you my personal example. Do we have time, or we are too bad?
No, I think we have time. It doesn't matter. It's interesting. So if people like it, they will stay.
Okay. So I can tell you my experience. So when we decided to study aeronautical engineering, because it was my sister and myself wanted to do that, my father said that to a person that, my girls wanted to study that. And that person said, this is crazy. If you do that, they will have no chance. They are girls. It's a very difficult career. And there is only one company in Spain that they can work for. And it's so difficult. So I will talk to your girls, because the best thing is they studied, economics or optic, because they can work in my company. So to make the long story short, an evening after dinner, this person came, and we sat down in the living room, and he told us exactly what I told you. You cannot, because da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then I'm talking here late 80s, okay? So at that time, girls cannot reply back to an adult.
Wow. Okay.
So, and we were like looking, my sister and myself, we were looking at each other, and then we were looking at my mother like we always did. She's our mentor, and say, what do we do now? And then my mother just said, I really appreciate that you had come here today to advise girls, but if we have left Cuba with 2 suitcases and $20 hidden in the belt of my husband, it was for the freedom of our daughters.
Wow.
So that they can be whatever they wanted to be.
Of course, that was your armor. This is what you took and made you go through anything in life.
So it is important when you have doubts that you have a mentor, that you have somebody that you can rely, because sometimes sometimes the hurdles, the obstacles are big. So sometimes you don't have enough strength. So in my case, for example, was my mother and my sister. So it is also important that you have somebody that is by your side, helping you.
And what if you don't have anyone, or you haven't found anyone, or you haven't identified that person?
Then you call me.
I'm asking all these questions because you're going to see it in the next part, in the second part of the video, but she's also a coach and she has a lot of experience in this, and she's amazing to talk to. But you're going to find out about this way more in the part 2. I don't want to give you spoilers right now. So but this is why I'm doing these questions.
Being serious, Veronica, is not, it's not that you call me. It is very difficult that a person kind of finds somebody that can share the fears and the obstacles, and that only sometimes with listening, if you have somebody that you can tell your fears, when you're just saying the loud voice, already gives you clarity. So I think it will be very, very difficult not to find somebody that can be there for you.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe this is something that I have thought from some time now, is that you have the internet and you have communities of people also there. You have Facebook group, you have, Reddit, you have Quora, you have so many social medias where you have groups of people feeling the same, having the same experiences and going through them and achieving things. So they can even tell you their experience. They are interested in help you get out of that bad situation. So I guess there's always someone, like you say, and it doesn't have to be your mom, it doesn't have to be someone from your family, nor your friends. You can also look for it outside, even professionals that the government puts there. There are counselors, there are so many people. It's just a way of, we have to start by admitting that we need it, and also maybe admitting that we can look for the help outside and just doing some research, and probably it will come up super quickly.
One very good one, for example, it is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You have career advice, because I answer those, and many times I have people that are requesting me and asking me questions, and I just I get a lot of also like, can you give me a job? And the answer is sadly no. But to ask for advice, and I get a lot of these questions. What do you think is better now? I'm thinking of. So there is definitely, and there is a lot of people there is willing to help.
I love this because lately I have a video that I need to upload soon, and it's about networking like this. It's not in LinkedIn. I decided to do it on Instagram because it's is less obvious, I guess, on Instagram, but you can also do it in any platform. You can reach out to other people like that you want to be like them and that are a reference for you. That's so powerful. And the fact that you're saying that you have had people that have already done it and you are open to answer those questions is just a proof that it's a good way of starting out to explore careers and finding out more about things.
We have sort of talked about networks, but networks is one of the things that you had to start building from the beginning. But meaningful network,
yeah,
not the network of chat. No, the meaningful network that you learn, and the person that you are connected with also learn, and then that you keep having the, spread. Just think, you have to do it in a strategic way somehow. Your networking. Why do I want to contact with this organization or with this person? And you had to tell. For example, people that right now ask me to connect in LinkedIn, and they don't say just connection, don't say anything. Unless that we have met before, I don't accept it, because why do I have to accept you? I mean, why for? What do you think I can help you?
Who are you?
Or what do you think, how do I think you can help me? Or what is the interest? Why is the thing that is linking us? Because that's what it's LinkedIn about. But it's not like just to have more people. I don't need that.
Amazing. Yeah, that's very powerful advice right away for people that want to start in LinkedIn and want to do it the right way. So going back to aeronautical engineering and your career, what do you like the most about that? What do you think are the things that always have been a motivation for you, and that you can just tell the other people, I like it so much because of this?
For me, in a single word, variety. You are never bored. So I had never been bored. I couldn't be frustrated. I couldn't be stressed. I couldn't be excited. I couldn't be very happy. I can name you all my emotions, with the exception of one, being bored.
Great.
And for me, being a very restless person, this is important. So the variety of things that you can see, the different sites that you can work off, the different projects that you can change within. Sometimes when the people say, but it's not so boring, you have been 30 years in the same company. And say, well, for me, it was not the same company. I was changing every 5 years to a different company because I was doing different things. So for me, this is the spectrum of possibilities that you have.
Great. Yeah, that's amazing. And what you're saying is so cool, that the fact that you are also in a company, it's not only about you being a good professional, it's also about finding the right places to be in that can just lift you up and can make you feel like you're doing always something different and exciting and just growing as a professional and as a person as well. And what do you like the least about your career? That's a good one as well.
That I had to study a lot. What I like the least, probably for me is that when you are passionate, I have encountered that in many occasions I was normally really passionate about the projects that I'm doing, and then the effort that I had to put in some other people that were not having that passion because they didn't have the same purpose to be there as I was. So the seeing people that they are not fulfilled with the daily job as I was, this is something that for me has been, I would say, sad. But luckily not too many times have happened. But for me is this, that when you have in a project that is difficult enough technologically wise, and then you also see that the people are not motivated, this for me has been the most difficult part. If I had to put in a sentence, for me, the most difficult part is when I have been in projects that we don't share the same purpose, the same why.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also frustrating, I can imagine, for you, because you're trying maybe to do things, you're in a different mood, let's say, and then you're trying to maybe go the extra mile and try this and that, and you put so much effort, and the other person is just like, sorry, it's 5 o'clock, or why so much effort?
That's it, I'm done. And having said that, What is also very interesting is instead of using that to be frustrated with yourself or with the other person, is how you can change that.
Wow.
And this is beautiful also. This is beautiful. And we have made it so in several projects, like understanding, because many times you don't know what is in the head of the other person. So just to judge and say, oh, come on, I'm here until, 8 o'clock and you want to go at 5. You don't know. You don't know what is in the life of that person. So try to understand their why, and then trying to have a common why. This is what makes it beautiful.
Really good advice, definitely. And you have to practice that, because just putting yourself in the shoes of others right away, it's hard. So I think it's something that you have to train your mind to work that way.
This is, again, emotional intelligence, to know yourself. So if you know that you are impatient, that you know that your type of personality is judging others a lot, so be aware of that and say, here goes, Elena is judging again, so let me see what I can do different. So this is self-awareness makes a big difference.
Oh, yeah, great, definitely. So what advice could you give to the people that are interested in considering aeronautical engineer their career, but they're not really sure about actually pursuing it?
In that, to make it easy and a short answer, I will ask you to get a paper and a pen. Very important. When your brain is confused, don't leave it up to your brain, in your brain, to solve it. Write it down. So you get a paper, you get a pen, you do 3 columns, and in the first one you put what I like to do. The second column you put what I'm good at, and the third column you put what it makes sense for me. You just start writing, what I'm good at. I'm good at physics, at computer, at whatever your
list.
What do you like? I like to make planes, so I like to make cars, so I like to surf the whole day, and then what it makes sense for me. It makes sense for me if I can finish my day, feel fulfilled. It makes sense for me that I can help other people. It makes sense for me to be very successful. It makes sense, whatever. And when you have these 3 columns, you will see that there is a pattern in there. You will see commonalities, and that it will give you an indication if you are right or not.
Okay. It's analyzing your answers, I guess, as well.
Exactly. And the second one as well, sometimes you can only try. Sometimes you have to follow your instinct, your gut instinct. Your gut is another brain. We have 3 brains. Yeah. We have the brain, what we call the brain. The heart is another brain. And your gut is another brain. And it's scientifically demonstrated that they are brains because they have the same components or the characteristic of an organ that has to be a brain. So that's why many times you say, it was a gut feeling and it was the right one. Or I did it with my heart and it was the right one. So sometimes, and as I say, because right now you have so many options that is so difficult that sometimes you can only try. And if not, you change.
Yeah.
You have time. You have time.
Yeah. I am super... I agree a lot with this, because also in my channel, I always say, just explore it, just discover new things, just try it out. And you don't have to actually go into college and have a career in it and then realize 3 years later, I actually don't like this. But you can also go on internships, volunteering, job shadowing people, professionals, ask the questions on LinkedIn, on social media, find the people that you're interested in, and just ask them how their lives are and how they build a career like this, and all the questions that you might have. So it's not only about doing a certain career or pursuing a certain path for years and then realizing, oh my God, I don't like this, because you're kind of wasting your time, let's be honest. You can just do, like, not quick, but you can do some tryouts for some, maybe a month, 2 months, how long it takes for you. You have to also define that for yourself.
Totally,
so that's so powerful. What you're saying is super, super good advice. I think it really resonates with me. And yeah, I really love the exercise as well. And if you want to know more about her, about Elena, and about her career, and you are interested also in finding out more about aeronautical engineering, in the next video, in the part 2, we're going to talk about her experience and like more in depth. And we're gonna also talk about her experience being a coach. As you can see, she has amazing advice and she can talk a lot about this too and how to help you. And Elena, I'm also really interested in you telling us where to find you. If people are also, they want to reach you and they want to ask you questions, or they're just really inspired by you, where can they find you?
For me, the easiest thing will be LinkedIn. I have an Instagram that I just did it lately to follow my daughter. So I'm not there yet. For me, because I consider it as a professional platform, the best way to find me is LinkedIn.
Great. So we're going to link it in the description box below, so you can just click it and find her right away. And thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe, hit like, and thank you so much, Elena, not Maria Elena. She corrected me before. Elena, thank you so much for your time, for all your advice, for just giving out so much, because this is really valuable for me, and I know that for many people out there as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you to you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.